You are watching Father Fish. Now please enjoy the video. You are watching Father Fish. Now please enjoy the video.
Hi there.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Hi there.
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Laughing at Roman.
Roman. Nala. That was my mother.
Was it?
Yeah.
Let's get myself straightened out here.
I have a video of Nala in the bird room at Father Fish.
Boy.
I'll have to play it sometime.
Oh, yes.
She was about 3 years old.
Oh.
So many of the people are gone.
I know it.
Makes that song so appropriate.
It does. Beautiful memories. Just,
Yeah.
it's just wow. Look at that place.
Isn't that amazing? And memories is all we have. Well, Mary, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm okay. I'm just perking along here, trying to keep my head straight, which is a challenge.
Right. Well, there's been so much going on.
There really is. It's just kind of amazing, really, when you look at what's happening. What's happening. I think if you can take a spiritual kind of view of this and see that the same dynamics are happening in many different areas of our life and many different places on the earth. Exactly the same dynamic. It's a struggle. We're involved in a struggle, a very deep struggle. And it's a struggle for something precious. I don't know.
Right.
You know,
You
we're
know,
dealing with it with this Lacey Act. The Canadians are dealing with it with, through the truckers. Um, People in France, we're just all over the world.
yeah,
People are dealing with the same issue, a struggle to a struggle to keep that which is precious. And I think maybe that puts it as cleanly and clearly as any other way. I mean, you can talk about freedom, but freedom, what freedom? But be specific about that freedom. We're all concerned about various aspects of freedom, and we all want to be able to maintain that freedom. And I think some of us will succeed. I hope in the major, most dominant, most important ways we will succeed. But in other ways, like with this Lacey Act, we may well lose. I'm going to talk to Paige and some people tomorrow, but I don't really hold any hope out for being able to defeat this. It's not that way. It's not like it's going to come up on the floor for discussion. It's not.
yeah,
It's a little tiny amendment tucked into a huge big bill. And the bill will be discussed minimally because they've already got the votes. They're going to send it back to the House for committee, and there are two or three little things they want to fix, and that'll be it.
yeah,
And we're not going to have any say about it at all. It's going to be a done deal. I felt like the only real hope was to try to convince Rubio that he's making a complete fool of himself, but he doesn't want to believe that. He really doesn't. He
yeah,
thinks this is the smart thing to do because it puts the Department of the Interior in charge of everything coming into the country. Well, that's the perspective. And we're going to suffer the consequences, and a lot of other people and a lot of animals will too. They're going to be huge swaths. Here's an interesting point. Brazil, the fish farmers and the collectors in Brazil have been fighting for years to overcome their own white list because it has prevented them from shipping out so many species that are wonderful little fish. And they finally are making some headway. They're finally breaking it down so that they're going to be able to ship a lot of these new unusual fish to the U.S.
yeah,
Except they're not. They're not. Because we're going to shut it down here. So we won't be able to get them. And that'll shut them down. And that'll pull all of the Piabas, the people living in the forests and in the jungles and on the rivers, that'll pull all of them out because they won't have the money coming in to be able to stay there. They'll have to
yeah,
move into the city and get jobs, and they'll lose their land. And the land will be taken over by mining, by loggers. This really is dreadful. It really
yeah.
is just dreadful.
And like, there's a
So,
lot of people, a lot of the average, aquarium or people in the hobby that say don't watch YouTube or watch the social media like this. A lot of people don't even know about it. They don't even realize what's getting ready to happen. So,
yeah, and there are too many people who are saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's not going to be that big a deal." Or, "Hold on, there's a process we go through. There is no process,
yeah,
and it is a big deal, and we're screwed. We anybody who is serious about collecting fish and looking all the time for those little oddballs, those unusual animals that are finally beginning to come into the hobby. We finally have people who are getting out into some of these areas and collecting new fish. We're not going to have any of them. They won't be permitted. They
yeah,
won't. They won't be allowed. And it's sad. It's just terribly, terribly sad. Christina Whitaker, hello, Roman Chirac. Valentine's for Mary Paige. How
Thank you, Roman.
nice. Yes, indeed. Marky, hello, Marky.
Hi, Marky.
Iluta Silvio. I think I pronounced that wrong. I've been saying Iluta, and it's something else. Ilutu, I don't know. Finally caught you guys live. Just did a massive trimming, shipped a bunch of owls to a friend. I've been working on my tanks all day. They're all messed up. Let's see.
That's what happens.
Aquatic News says the whole point of banning normal stuff is to get more people arrested and cause civil unrest and heavily fine the public. That's going to happen, whether it's a direct cause or an unintended consequence. It is going to happen, no question. Mom and pop fish stores will go under. Absolutely true. They absolutely will. The only place you're going to buy fish is in a big box store, and you'll be able to get one of 50 species, and that'll be it. That'll be it.
I know there's so many fish it's going to affect. It's mind blowing.
I've been looking at my tanks. Rams. You think rams are going to be on the list? Well, they might be, but the Brazilians just won't. Think of all the Central American cichlids. None of them are going to make it, not one. And we have a lot. Here's the other thing. We've got 20,000 animals are living in this country, in people's homes, in their collections, in their fish rooms, hobby rooms, whatever. 20,000 different species are here right now. Right now. Now, they're not going to come take them away, I don't think. They might try, but I don't think they'll get away with it. But they sure can prevent us from sending them or carrying them across state lines.
Yeah.
You can do it, but if you get arrested, man, you're going to lose your life. There's hell to pay. This is a bad law. The Lacey law is a bad law. It used to be pretty benign, but over the years it's been changed and strengthened and gotten to the point where it is easily the most punitive set of penalties in federal law. 5 years in prison and $25,000 fine for one item, simple possession. Doesn't matter how you've got it. Pick it up off the street. They have sent children's parents to jail for picking up a turtle shell off the beach, an empty shell.
Oh my gosh.
Turtle shell, honest to God. That's how bad this is. I mean, it's been bad for years. This is going to be 1,000 times worse. And it is. I mean, I know people are calling me an alarmist and saying I'm just going off and trying to upset people. Well, I am. It's absolutely true. I am an alarmist. I am ringing the bell. There's the bell, folks. It now has a new meaning.
Yeah.
Ring the bell. We're in trouble. And I don't think there's much we can do about it. We'll see, but I don't think so. Fish Ranch Home is here. We can do like truckers are doing. I love them. I love them. It's a sad day if it gets passed. It will indeed, Craig. It will indeed.
Yep.
Let's see.
Trying to say, like people talk about the smugglers, what's going to happen when it becomes something that there's going to be people bringing in stuff illegally and the trouble that's going to cause. It's, ooh, Scott, nice.
Some people will get away with it for a while, but man, when they get caught, their life will be over. I mean, think about it. One box of fish, 100 fish in the box, little guys, 100 fish. That's 100 charges. 100 times 25,000 times 5 years. That's the way the law is applied.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing, but that is ridiculous with everything else going on in the world. That's just not what we need. Good grief. Still enforcement laws here in New York City.
I'll tell you one thing. I won't risk it. I absolutely will not.
Yeah.
I will simply, I'm hoping they're not going to ban transport of native species across state lines. They might do that. I hope they don't. I hope we at least will have native species that we'll be able to deal in. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
That native species were delineated in the amendments. They were a category apart from imported species. So we'll see. We'll see. If true, then we will get going on native species. Absolutely will. And I'm going to be teaching people how to do nature aquariums. Absolutely will. But I will not. I will not violate the law. I will not. I will not.
That's it. It's not going to be worth it.
It'll break my heart, and I'll probably die an early death. But I won't do it. Is there an open Senate session for the bill prior to the Senate vote? Wendy and I have both sent email and petition. Here's the point, Scott. This bill is not the bill that has gone from the House to the Senate. That bill is called COMPETES, COMPETES. It's $1 trillion, nearly $1 trillion package, many hundreds of billions of dollars package that has a completely different agenda than this Lacey amendment. Totally different. Has nothing to do with it. The amendment is one of more than 600 amendments that have been tacked on to this major bill. Now, this is a little device that has been used for a lot of years in Congress to get things through without any consideration. That's the purpose of doing an amendment to a major bill. It never gets looked at. It never gets discussed. It just gets pushed through. So no, the Lacey Act amendments, unless Paige can find some senator who's willing to stand up on his hind feet and raise the issue. But even if he does, it won't make any difference because there won't be enough people against it to defeat it. I'm afraid. I'm afraid it's a done deal. I really am. I don't see any way to stop it. The only way is for Rubio to pull it. He's the one that put it there. It isn't in yet. He can pull it. It's simply sitting in the hopper. If he pulls it, that stops it. So we'll see. I don't think he will. He thinks it's brilliant. He thinks this is genius, and it's going to catapult him into the White House for dealing with a major domestic issue, invasive species, stopping it for all times. What a brilliant man.
Thank you, Eduardo.
What a genius. What an amazing politician. That's the way he thinks about it. That's what he's been told. He's been suckered into this. Well, we do appreciate so many good channels bringing us this information, though, and really telling us what we can do to help and where to contact. And I just, I thank you guys for doing that because y'all put out a lot of good information on it. Like I said, That's right, T-Bone. I'm still going on about it. And I will be going on about
I
it
knew he
until
would
it's
be.
a done deal. You betcha, T-Bone.
Right.
I'm going to go on and on about it. Yeah, more
Hello
care,
to
more
everybody
research.
coming in.
That's outrageous, isn't it? More care
Mm.
does not mean more restrictions. It means less. It means
Yeah.
we're not going to be allowed to care. We're not going to be permitted to care for these animals. Louisiana Senator John Kennedy is a firecracker. He sure is.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be? Sure, I love that man. He is wonderful. But again, I mean, he stands up on his hind feet all the time, and he raises hell all the time. But we haven't got a majority, or even close to it. This same bill passed in the Senate a year ago, 69 to 30, with nearly 20 Republicans supporting it. Same bill. It didn't go to the House at the time, or if it did, they didn't take it up. Now they've taken it up, and it's coming back to the Senate. What do you think's going to happen?
Hello, everybody coming in. I'm just listening in. I'm just soaking it in. I'm not very good at speaking about it, but I'm like I said, I just appreciate everybody that's out there that's really bringing this to us. Right. It's a nationwide story. You got that right, Michigan Tires.
It's nationwide.
I said tires.
Here Arcus is saying something important.
Yeah.
He's saying get your forever animals and establish good bloodlines. He's absolutely right about that. They're not coming to take the animals away. I don't think they can do that. Not under this legislation. This legislation governs the transportation, specifically the transportation. Doesn't say anything about possession within the state. If what's going to be required is those of us who care to get as many of these special, rare, and endangered and difficult animals as we can handle and maintain them. It's going to take years. It's going to be a multi-year commitment. It may be a rest of your life commitment. In my case, it probably will. I'm not going to flush these guys, not at all. I'm going to learn how to breed the ones I don't know how to breed, and I'm going to keep them going. And there are a lot of other breeders who will do the same thing. So hopefully one day we'll be free again to be able to care and to be able to help and to be able to love with hand and heart.
Yeah.
It's not enough to care. You've got to help. Caring is helping. It's hand and heart, not just heart. Get you for red.
I know. I'm just reading all the comments here, and thank you, John and Eduardo, for taking care of that for us. Y'all are on it. Yeah, Master Black was talking about the dwarf hamsters in one tank, but yeah, they're not worried about stray cats taking over the world. If it passes, it won't take effect for a year, Jerry's Fish Room says. So that's not that far away, though.
Yeah, next January. It'll happen next January. Red Light Robot is saying, thus we see some invasive species are already a problem. That's true. Our tropical fish in a northern climate, not so much. That's also true. And that's really the issue. Of the 20,000 animals that we have in captivity in our country, how many are destructively invasive? There are three categories of invasive species. Three categories. There are those that cannot survive. There are those that survive in a niche. Now, we don't really know. I was talking to a biologist about this morning. He said we don't really know what the effect of that is. They could be carrying pathogens. The pythons, it turns out, are carrying a pathogen, a parasite that is infecting snakes in Florida and is moving faster than the pythons are. So that certainly can happen. But the reality is the numbers of destructive invasive species is such a tiny fraction of the total number of foreign animals. To shut down an entire industry and say you may not have any of these 20,000 because there are 100 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 that are destructive. That's throwing the baby out with the bath. That's cutting the baby in half and giving half to each of two parents. That's an act of insanity. It is what tyrants do. It is what people who are simply exercising power do. It is, and that's the issue. It is the very issue, the very identical issue that we are struggling with as human beings all over the earth today. That's what the truckers are all about. That's what the people marching in Paris are all about. That's what the movements all around the earth are all about, is overcoming the tyranny of those in power who simply lust for power. Prove me wrong.
Hello, everybody that's joining us.
What do we got here? We got 43 here. We
got a lot of folks.
We're building a mob. Building a movement here.
That's right. And that's what it's about too. Everybody just stands together and things can happen. It's just getting everybody to get on board and do a part of it.
T-Bone wants to know if the bill affects the LFS or just hobbyists and breeders. It affects everyone. T-Bone.
Yeah, everybody.
It affects the farmers. It affects the stores. It affects the breeders. It affects the hobbyists. It affects everyone. There's no one not touched by it.
Right. Jess came in. And Ian.
Master Blake. Yeah, talking about stray cats.
Yeah.
Cats are destroying the songbird population in this country. Cats. House cats. Wild cats. Alley cats.
Feral cats.
Feral cats, right? They're destroying it. We're not going after the cats, are we? Here's what's worse. The Plecostomus and the goldfish. Okay? Plecostomus and goldfish. Both of which are phenomenally destructive. What is this bill going to do about it? I love it. The bill says the animals that will be put on that list are the animals that are being sold in the largest quantity. Now, it doesn't say it that way. It says everything sold in small quantities will not be on the list. Isn't that clever? Isn't that clever? So,
pretty clever.
Plecostomus and goldfish are the two most popular, most widely sold animals in the country. They will be on the list. This bill has nothing to do with the environment, with destructive species, nothing at all. Nothing.
I love reading the comments. Everybody I want to read them all out loud, but of course I'd take up the stream. But
yeah, go ahead.
There's a bunch of good ones. Let me see here if I can get back to some of these. Oh, Ian just got back from the GPAS club meeting. Welcome, Ian. I'm glad you went. I bet that was a lot of fun. 1001 on Street. Oh, Brookley Bell was just asking a simple question like, we go to Biloxi frequently for weekends to stay with parents-in-laws, and we always bring our bearded dragon along with us. So if this passed, that'd mean we couldn't be able to bring it because it'd be crossing state line. Just little simple things like that.
It's a good chance the bearded will be on the list. It's a very popular item. It's one of the most popular reptiles. Probably will make it. We'll see. We'll see.
And Chance was wondering if you sell fish to Toronto, but you don't do any shipping out of.
I don't ship out of the country. No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
That's why they keep us broke and prepare us for anything. Right? You said it, Christina. Right. Snakes and lizards can't. Yeah, there's just so many things like that that can't even survive in other areas. So that's one thing that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
oh, get this. What is going to be banned is any animal that can survive in any U.S. territory. That includes Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. It includes tropical environments. If it can survive in that, let me say something to you. That includes guppies, guys. That includes guppies.
John just said that. John said the future of guppies is disastrous now. I mean, what are we going to do?
Isn't that amazing?
How, Richie?
It's the big hammer. Everything is a nail if you got a big hammer.
Right. There's been a tyrant. Where do you discuss? I can never do this name right, but JBBMP says, where do you discuss your politics? I know you like it, and they'd like a sneak peek at it. So, do you still have your other channel?
I do, but I'm not using it much. Go to Discord.
Okay.
We have a couple of channels on Discord. One of which is called Lou, L-O-U, and it's my channel.
It's my channel.
I blow my stack on it regularly. And we have one called Lacey Act, where we're trying to keep everything that's covered, everything we know. So on Discord, you can jump in there, have your saying. Somebody may jump down your throat. That's okay, but you'll be able to defend yourself, and you're not going to be cut off for doing it. The only reason you get cut off is for being an SOB, that is to say, for being vulgar and hateful to other people. We don't tolerate that.
We can all agree to disagree, but be nice.
Be at least civil, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, here's the Discord link for anybody who wants it.
Freaky Fish later. I wormed my puffers.
Hey, Holly.
With Prezi Pro. Should it be done again in 3 days or 7? And should they be fed during this time? If you've done it once, follow up with crushed garlic. See if you can get them to eat it. They might not. But try to follow up with that. You might be able to trick them into eating it by putting fish scent on it. I'll tell you what a friend of mine used. Henry Hall. Now, Henry Hall had big fish. I mean, he had big fish. Big fish. When he needed to treat a fish, he would get a goldfish and make up a capsule of the medication and put it in the goldfish's mouth, jam it down in there, and throw it in with the fish, and the fish would eat it. That's how he medicated his fish. But he had big fish. It's hard to do that with tiny fish. You can do it, though. You can do it.
I wish we had footage of you back then with him. I bet that was some good stuff going on.
That would have been fun. That would be so much fun. Yeah. Oh my
Lurker
word, too
Malik.
coolly. Too coolly said I've missed these for a few
Malik.
weeks. Well, nice to have you back, too coolly.
Yes. Sending Too Cooley some hugs. And
You
Malik
bet.
is here
You bet.
lurking. Hey, guy. Hey,
Hey,
Malik.
Malik. Oh, Malik's been doing such a good job on this. He
Oh my
really, and
gosh.
he's a Canadian. You know, we're going to move to Canada when this all over, Malik.
Canada.
You guys will be able to get stuff we can't get.
Right. Malik has always been he's always talked about, how making sure that where fishes are sourced from. And he's really thoughtful and really takes things into consideration before he keeps fish, where they're sourced.
Amen.
Scuba Steve, hello. Danny Weshy. Aquascaper 30. That's a new name, Aquascape 30, I think. And Jack
Oh, that's
Fish.
interesting. Jack Fish says Canada is banning wild caught and any fish that grows over 12 inches except koi
Damn it.
in my area. Huh.
Right.
Oh, dear.
Scuba Steve.
I know.
And Eduardo, always good to see you.
Oh, I got to show you guys something.
Okay.
I'm going to have
Tom,
to. I'm going to have
moving
to
to some other country.
unwrap my wire here to do this. Let's see if I can do it. My wire's all tangled up. Oh, okay. Here we go. This is one of my saltwater tanks. Check these guys out. I have a dozen great sailfin mollies in saltwater, and
Oh, cool.
and there's a couple of these big killies. I can't remember the name of the killies. I've got at least a pair of them. That's one. That's a killie. You can see them. Mollies and killies. Here are the mollies. There's a killie. They're kind of shy. They're running away from the camera. I ought to put food in. Look at it.
They're being
Scared them
shy.
all away. They really are. They all went back behind the rocks. Funny.
Father Fish is like the little mad scientist in his little fish room. All kind of stuff going on.
You betcha.
Hey, RJ.
Christina said, I heard of mollies being found in Canada.
RJ.
Yeah, that's what made me think of this.
Yeah. I know. It's neat when you see the mollies that have been converted over to salt. I think Alan Blanchard, Alan Tooth, he did that with some that he got from you a while
That's
back.
right.
And that was really cool.
These in salt. These actually came out of salt.
Oh, okay. Where you collected them.
I collected them, yeah.
Yes. It ended up tearing down a bunch of tanks. What'd you say, Shelby? Let's see. I'm afraid I might end up tearing down a bunch of tanks.
It's a very strange comment, RJ.
That's what I was
Very
laughing at.
strange comment.
Oh, goodness. Malik says we can go ahead and come there to Ontario. He's open for business. I wish I could go help him.
Really?
That'd be fun.
Oh, man.
Malik is something else.
I was talking to Valerie today. Valerie is the secretary of their club. By the way, I posted a link to the newsletter for the Venice Aquarium Society on my community page. Our meeting is coming up this Thursday. The program is going to be presented by Chris Becker. Chris Becker is the past president of our club, but he is also one of the top environmental biologists in the state of Florida, working for the state. He's going to be doing a program on invasive species, and we will be live streaming it. So this is one of the top people in the field of invasive species. So it'll be really interesting hearing him. I've already gotten a lot of insight from him. He also happens to be a collector of rare and endangered species, especially the L series Plecostomus. Although he has not studied the Lacey Act, He's not going to be speaking on the Lacey Act. It'll be strictly, he teaches invasive species to rangers and park service people all around the state. So he really is one of the leaders in the field here in Florida. That'll be coming up this Thursday. You'll be able to catch it right here on Father Fish, beginning at 7 o'clock. You'll be able to watch us eat. You'll be able to participate. You'll be able to ask questions.
That's cool.
We're going to find ways to get you guys really totally involved in this.
That is so great, because so many of us, like me, I don't have a fish club near me, and that's really exciting. So thank you guys for doing that. Aquascape 30 says, I have a lot of golden wonder killifish fry right now. That is exciting.
Oh, how wonderful. They're such a neat thing. Oh, good job.
Yeah.
I have never tried to breed them, and they're a beautiful fish. You know what? I don't think they're native. In fact, I'm not sure. They may be. Okay. I don't think they are. I mean, if they were, they would be here in Florida, I think. And they're not, to my knowledge. I don't know. Need to look into this. Pretty fish. Thank you for your efforts to this evening, Master Aquatics.
Yes.
Just call me Eduardo. Eduardo, thank you so much. Thank you for your kind efforts.
Yes.
Oh, how are the new Sunset's asking how the new fish are
settling in.
Well, look right there. Right there. See that? That's one of the Venestus. No. It's one of the new chocolate cichlids. I got 4 of them, and here's another one. They're all doing really well. We're feeding them wingless fruit flies. Chris, who I was mentioning, has a bunch of them, and I tried it on them, and they work. And he's raising a lot of fruit flies because he's feeding about 1,000 baby tarantulas.
Oh my goodness!
And many different species.
Baby tarantulas. Yeah, that was one thing I never could. I think they're neat. I just can't hold them. It's not like I'm doing. Oh, look at those bettas.
There's 2. Aren't they? Yeah, pretty bettas. Look at this male.
Oh, he's pretty.
Ain't he something?
Really pretty.
Yeah, the females are doing well. No, they haven't spawned yet. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe temperature. It may simply be too cold. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is. This is my favorite tank these days.
I set up a new tank, and I put like some old plant or some plants out of another tank into it. And I found little rice fish babies in there today, and I was just so excited.
How cool is that?
It was so cool. I kept seeing saw this little speck, and I kept thinking, is that some kind of bug off the driftwood? Had to get out my magnifying glass. And so apparently something had eggs on it, so I was really excited.
Good job.
And then I'm waiting on the Vienna guppy babies. I can't wait for those to happen. I'm excited about those. They're so pretty.
Has anyone ever invented a leak-proof tank?
Yeah, I was going to read that one
to you. That piece of my, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's called a jar.
Yeah, right.
Might break, but it won't leak. The old-time battery jars were boxes, glass boxes.
Yeah, Shelby has one.
Gallons. Yeah, wonderful. They're hard to come by.
Yeah.
But, solid glass. There are solid glass tanks. You can get solid glass tanks, and they certainly don't leak.
Yeah, that was really cool. I remember we were watching a video of hers, and she had one in the background, and you spotted it right away. You knew what it was.
Paul says, I wish I had a fish club near me. You're welcome to join the Venice Fish Club, Paul, with all the honors and privileges attached. And we're going to find a way
Ooh,
to make it possible until this law passes for you to be able to enter into the auctions. I hope
yeah.
we'll be able to continue the auctions. We should be able to, so long as nothing is going out of state.
Yeah. Ian said he streamed his club meeting today the whole time. That was great. That's great. I missed
Oh,
it.
wonderful.
So I'm gonna have to go back and check
that's
that out.
great.
We've
That's
had so much
wonderful.
stuff going on over here. I've missed a lot of stuff going on. So I'm trying to get back in it. Hello, Lisa's Tanked. She just snuck in.
Some killies are mop spawners. Most killies are not. There are some killies that have sticky eggs. There are other killies that are egg scatterers. Their eggs are not sticky. They just kind of spread them around. It depends on the type of killie. But yeah, mop spawners are used by a lot of killie breeders as a way of being able to catch the eggs and move them out easily. Absolutely.
Talk about people making
Atkins,
videos.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
Atkins,
really
where
good.
are you from, Atkins?
Where is Ian from?
Where's
I can't
your
even
club?
remember.
Where is your club? Master Aquatics liked it a lot. Nice.
Scott talking about his cat sleeping upside down. Might do that. And they sleep under the covers like a dog with their heads sticking out.
Tank
Crazy
Aquatics
cats.
likes jumping spiders.
I like them until you're looking at them and they jump before you realize it. They are interesting little
Scott
critters.
says we have a Cory that sleeps upside down. Never saw that. That's a little strange.
Oh, that's good. And of course, I can't say Elijah's. I'm sorry, I know I've just totally wrecked that, but he said his father-in-law just gave him a battery jar like that last year.
Oh, how wonderful.
Currently, yeah, that is neat.
Wonderful. Lisa's Tank. Hello.
That would be something to look for at thrift stores and junk stores and all that good stuff. I love plundering in places like that.
Freaky Fish Lady, I got pearl weed and Brazilian pennywort and blue dream shrimp from LRB. Not had either of those plants. Wish me luck. They should do wonderfully. I'm sure
and
you'll
the blue
do well
dreams.
with them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Holly,
pretty
that's nice.
fish. Pretty fish.
Never used. Oh, okay. Christina Whitaker has a question. She says she's wondering, am I the only one who's ever used ivermectin to worm fish? Because I used it this week and it has been a miracle. It didn't kill any of my snails or detritus worms, and the ick was gone in 24 hours. I've never used ivermectin.
We need to put that right on the top of the list.
Yeah.
As a parasite. Wow. Never even thought about that.
No.
I assume you put it in solution.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You must have. Tell us a little more about how you use that. That's extraordinarily impressive. This is horse medicine, guys. Horse medicine. She's using horse medicine on her fish. How outrageous is that?
Hey, well, never mind. I won't say what else it's being used for. The human malware. They say you take it for that too.
Now, who said this? I didn't. Where
Christina
is it?
Whitaker. It is
Where?
at 644. See, I've not heard of that. You know, the other stuff that we treat with is like Strongyne C.
Wow. I think that's enormously exciting, Christina.
Well, Jack,
ivermectin is, according to the World Health Organization, is one of the top 10 most important drugs in the world. It has saved literally millions and millions of lives due to its antiparasitic properties. It also has antiviral properties that are documented. I know there's been controversy about its use, but it is nonetheless one of the most important drugs in the world, according to the World Health Organization. And we're using it to kill parasites with our fish. God, I love it.
Jackfish says that I've used it on my shrimp. I have used it, ivermectin, on most shrimp disease and calamaris worms, gill flukes, and it works great. Used it for years. Not sure about it. We want to know more.
What is it? It probably killed it. Probably will. Use, let's say, the avian.
Thank you, Arcus.
Uses it on birds. Wow.
Mm-hmm. We always used it on, of course, horses, cattle, and when we treated dogs for heartworms, that would be a follow-up treatment on the heartworm treatment they would go through.
Wow.
That's what I was wondering.
Good for so many parasites and anything that reproduces super fast. Such an important drug. Thank you, too, Cooley.
Xanadu, yep. It's related to...
I got to tell you about coral snakes. Master Eduardo's talking about coral snakes in your yard. I actually, when I first moved to Florida 30 years ago, I was downtown Sarasota. Now, not all the way downtown, but maybe 10 blocks away from downtown in a major metropolitan area. There happened to be a little horse paddy stuck off on the side. I heard somebody screaming, "Snake, snake!" And I ran over, and there was a 3-foot coral snake. Didn't know they got that big. Crawling along in front of this guy's house in the grass. Well, I picked it up by the tail. They are a mole snake. They don't have the strength to lift themselves up. They don't have that kind of muscle. So he couldn't lift up to bite me. I gave it to a member of the local herpetology club. But
cool.
That was amazing. That was just fascinating.
That's really cool. Wow, Jackfish is really talking about all the ivermectin, and that's really neat. I never knew about that. Such an important drug. I'm just still reading through stuff like that. Oh, are you going to
Xanadu's giving us a biology lesson.
Yeah.
A biochemical lesson, I should say.
Right.
Ivermectin, which is a natural chemical found in plants, is ivermectin is a derivative or is related to
a natural chemical. I did not know that.
Idea on dosage, Jason's asking.
Yeah. Trying to see if anybody said anything.
Works on Scrillaria and Japonica. Mercy, mercy, mercy. This is exciting stuff.
We're learning stuff here today.
I had no idea. Really?
Right, too, Cooley. Red next to yellow, kill a fellow. Red next to black, a friend of Jack. I remember that from when I was little. Tank says there's a myth that coral snakes has their fangs in the back, but they're really in the front.
Well, they have teeth in the front. They don't have fangs, actually. They have regular teeth.
Okay.
They have a poison sac that releases poison into their mouth. So as they chew, the poison gets into the little wound that they create, the piercing. They pierce the skin and the poison comes in, but they don't have hypodermic teeth the way a viper does.
Arcus says, what led you to move to Florida 30 years ago, Father Fish?
My mother,
you lived in,
actually. Yeah. I was living in Maryland. I had a beautiful place on the eastern shore of Maryland, living on a major estate in a farmhouse. It was lovely. And my mother said, "Oh, you're going to waste up there. You're not doing anything. I need you to come down here and help me." And she was a sweet lady, a loving lady. And I always accepted her advice. Didn't always work out quite the way I wanted to, but I always did what my mommy told me.
right?
Daddy too,
That's a
for
good
that
thing.
matter. I guess.
Hey, let's see. Christina just said at 6:50, she said she put a tiny drop in an ounce of water, broke that down to 1 to 10. Then I soaked brine shrimp in it, and I got a badly covered molly in a trade, so it had anchor worms. In 24 hours, all ick and the worms were gone. So she broke it down,
Huh. Wow.
soaked the brine shrimp in it, and then fed it to them. Interesting.
Nice. That's incredible. That's wonderful.
Oh, the sailboat story. Yeah,
The
too cool.
sailboat, really.
It is. That's the thing about ivermectin is you got to really know how to dose it to do it right. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jess,
right.
I've used the liquid and the paste. Mainly the liquid's what I've used.
That's exciting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm kind of like halfway here tonight. I apologize. We've been having a time here at the house, so I'm here. I'm present.
Jessie said, now Jessie has horses. She said she has the liquid form of ivermectin. So that would be ideal. One drop per, what was it? I didn't see.
It was one drop. I think it was at 6:50. She put a tiny drop in an ounce of water, broke that down to 1 to 10, then soaked the brine shrimp in it. Yeah. So she really studied on how she broke it down.
Wow.
Aquafinity.
Tank Aquatics, a wonder drug. It is indeed. Oh, there it is. I see. Soaked brine shrimp in it and got a badly covered molly in a tray. Also had anchor worms. In 24 hours, all ick and worms gone. Soak brine shrimp in it. You then fed the brine shrimp? Is that what you're saying?
I think, yeah. Oh, and Jack Fish also said the dosage is 0.1 milligram per gallon of water, but mix it in boiling water, then cool it and add to the water. That was Jack Fish at 6:48, right before Christina. We're like, I'm taking all these mental notes. Got to figure this out.
Jack is saying neorites cannot tolerate ivermectin.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They're always kind of more sensitive.
They're a saltwater snail.
Good question. Jess says, can mystery snails hold up to it? We'd have to ask Roxanne. Where's Roxanne?
Right. Well, she probably hasn't used it.
And Jack Fish said they used the horse tube paste. Okay. So you just got one of the blenders that's got the, gotcha.
Yeah, the Brazilian ramshorn, I've had those. They are monsters. They get immense. They get really big.
Oh, I've never seen those.
They will eat every plant in your tank. But I tell you what they won't eat. They will not eat Aponogetans. Isn't that interesting?
That is.
That's the bulb plants.
Okay.
Like herbaceous and so forth. They won't eat the Aponogetans. At least they didn't eat mine. I had them in a tank. I remember my big 125-gallon Blackwater tank. I had them in there, and I had Aponogetans in there, and they survived. They didn't have any trouble. It was a deuce of a time getting rid of them though, because they're like the pond snail or the bladder snail. They lay a gelatinous mass of eggs, and they're very, very prolific. So once you get a couple of them in there spawning, maybe it's a struggle. They're like the apple snail, really hard to get rid of.
Yeah. Thanks, Danny. Danny's answering questions in a chat too about the other, like the benzimidazole, if I said it correctly, the dog dewormer. Using it. Shelby's already got her mind on, can I put neorites in salt water? Yep.
Tank is talking about heart guard and marine aquarium. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that where you are? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Neorites are a brackish water fish. their natural environment is brackish water or very hard alkaline water, kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's what they do. That's why they don't spawn. I mean, they spawn, but the eggs won't hatch. The eggs need salt water. Now, I have had the eggs hatch in tanks that became extremely hard with a very high TDS.
See, Aquascape 30.
Here, fishy. I didn't realize that was your question. Nice to see you, Shelby. Yeah, so you can keep neorites in your saltwater tank here, fishy.
Let's see, Aquascape 30 is saying they're setting up their first dirted tank. They're wanting longevity. Well, that's what you got the right one. They just get better with time.
Red light robot, they hatch in salt, then crawl up to brackish. So you normally find them in brackish. Although we have found them down here in brackish, but with a very, very low salt content. I've got them right out here in my creek. I've found them in my creek, not in large numbers. Frank has found them. For a couple of years ago, Frank brought me 1,000 of them that he had found, and I put them in, spread them out in all my tanks. I had neorites for years. I was selling them. It was very nice.
Yeah. They're neat snails, except for their little eggs everywhere. Clean up a species that'll clean up. I don't know if there's anything that really eats the eggs. I mean, they will, but like
I think they're really
will.
Hard.
Yeah, but they don't like eat a lot of them.
What will?
Won't Corys eat them? Just like maybe eat a lot of them, but
I think they're really hard.
Yeah,
real hard shells. Other snails don't eat them apparently. It's a very easy. Here you go. Here's the solution to neorite eggs. If you're troubled
get a male
by neorite eggs, wait a minute now. You gotta get into this. This is a head thing. Okay? You deal with them in your head. That's how you deal with them. You don't like them, right?
Uh-huh.
Get over yourself. Learn to love neorite snails, and they will be a joy to you.
Let's see, who was it? It was Irene from Girl Talks Fish. She said that she figured out to get a male neorite instead of a female, but I thought, how many snails would you have to go through before you figured out which one would be a male, which is a brilliant idea, but...
It'd be a good trick, wouldn't it?
Right. That's right, Roman. Did everybody... Well, I didn't even check it to see if everybody's hit that thumbs up. Thank you, guys. I'm out of it. Yep, get a male. That's the answer.
Christina's saying, I used to use the paste on the farm, $4 for enough to do my tanks and dogs till I die. Used it for all our animals on the farm. We already used to using it. She only used the brine shrimp. That's interesting. So the thing about brine shrimp is they capture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feed them, it's called gut loading. When you feed them, what they have captured is like spirulina is typically what are fed to brine shrimp, which are then fed to animals that eat them in order to gut load the animals.
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with medication. And that's what Christina has done here. She has effectively put the medication in with brine shrimp, which capture it, and then they gut load the fish with it because they'll eat it, and that gets the medicine inside them. Just genius. Right. Absolute brilliant.
Let's see. Two Cooley's got a question for you. She said, I say she, he. I know you say nitrates are not as dire as generally believed, but is a constant high amount indicative to some nutrient leaking through the sand cap? Which, if she's
what is
keeping
she talking about?
I guess in her dirted tank.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see.
Maybe the sand cap has been breached.
is a constant high amount
In
indicative
fishy.
of some nutrient. It may simply be, well, here's the thing. If your water, and I would assume that the water you use, your source water, is hard water. Evaporation makes it harder. If you are topping off with the same water, then it gets harder. The more you tap off, the harder it gets. That's how the Salt Lake and the Dead Sea are created. Water goes into them, evaporates, nothing runs out. There's no egress. So it simply stops there. Water evaporates, which makes it harder and harder. And eventually it gets so hard that only a few things like brine shrimp and spirulina can survive. So there are no fish living in the Salt Lake or the Dead Sea for that very reason. So likely that's the cause of increased nitrates. It can also, nutrients and deep substrate can contribute, but it's more a function of replacing evaporated water with the same water they're in, the same water you created, which is simply getting more and more and more nitrates, hardness. Nitrates are, if you've got a lot of plants, nitrates do tend to absorb plants do tend to absorb nitrate. So a lot of plants helps a lot in that respect. The reality is that the research that Stephen, the biologist, did at his lab, is a federal lab in Virginia, on nitrates and the effect of nitrates on fish. They determined that while there was an effect on fish at relatively low levels of 100 to 200, that effect did not become significant until the nitrates reached about 500. Then it became a significant effect. So if you've got nitrates under 250, it's not an issue, not going to be a concern. If you want to reduce it, you have to use rainwater, RO water, rainwater, RO water. What is when you boil up? Oh, shit, I can't think.
Distilled water.
Distilled water. Thank you.
Okay,
right.
I got it.
Yes. RO, rainwater, or distilled water, or soft water. You can get soft water. I have a creek here that I go to routinely that has extremely soft water. It's very low pH. It's 5.8 pH with very little, just tiny hardness. None to speak of. Anyway, he's talking about the razor blade. What's he referring to?
Let's see. I think they were talking to Too Cooley.
Conservation Park. No, go ahead.
Oh, him and they were. I think it was him and Too Cooley talking about the nitrates.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
If you had 2 gallons per day, Brian Carroll, if you had 2 gallons per day of hard water, you're going to have a pretty high TDS level in fairly short order.
I like what Brookley Bell said here. We were talking about the Nerite snails. She said she has 5-cylinder vase aquascapes set up for my 5 Nerites. I labeled them as interrogation rooms, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so I can find the females and put the males back into the tanks. And so far, she's found. Number 4 has been found guilty. So she's already on that one about knowing using males. That's pretty good.
Red Light Robot saying, Father Fish, how do you feel that rams handle a rainwater change too cold? Well, you don't want to make it cool. Oh, you're thinking about having them outside so that rainwater strikes it. That likely This is interesting. If it's in a large enough container, I would say 40 gallons or so. It's not going to, both temperature and temperature is not going to, temperature change is going to not fluctuate quickly. It'll be slow enough, and it should not be deep enough to make it. In other words, it shouldn't go down enough to make a difference. Interesting question. I've never kept rams outdoors. Maybe I'll try that this summer. I'd love to be able to get them breeding in some real quantities.
Hold on. I got to be right back a second, if that's okay. Be right back.
Go. I'm ready. Let's see. Roman, what's Roman say? I heat up my rainwater with the aquarium heater. Oh, excellent. Okay. So you're adding, the reality is if you're doing a minor water change or addition of water, if you're adding a gallon to 20 gallons, that's 5%. That's gonna drop the existing temperature 5%. So if the temperature is at 82, 5% of that is about 4 degrees. It'll drop it to 78, maybe. It ain't gonna stay down, but I think Roman's advice is the best. Bring the new water temperature up to your tank water temperature, particularly with the species as sensitive as rams are, or discus, or something that really is very sensitive to temperature change, the low temperatures particularly. Smelled it, Mystery says. Interrogation rooms, that's funny.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
That's funny. Everyone's on eggshells with rams. Oh, rams, rams are either easy or hard. Right now, I'm finding them really, really hard. I've had them in the past in a fish room I had before the shop. Man, I bred them all the time. They just cranking them out. So taking the eggs out, hatching the babies, just always had spawns of rams. I've yet to have one here. I did finally get a spawn of Plecostomus. And I've got about 30. Yeah, I've got about 30 babies. I pulled the parents out. I'm looking to see if they're usually visible. I'm not seeing them. Let's look. We can look. This is the 40-gallon breeder. There's one right there, which means there are a bunch of them. There they are. There they are. See them? There they are scooting around. Yep. So doing really, really well. I'm real pleased. I also found a tiny pleco. Right there he is.
There he is.
I don't think I bought that. I think it might be the long fin. I did buy a long fin, but I didn't think I put it in that tank. Maybe I did.
Surprise plecos.
Yeah,
like my surprise rice fish. I cannot believe that.
A lot of plants in here. I put some pseudomcgills in here because I noticed they were spawning in another tank, and there's not much in here. I thought some eggs might survive, so we'll see. I've got 2 females and a male, I think. Although now it looks like 2 males and 2 females. 3 males and 1 female. I think it's 3 males and 1 female. I think it is. We'll see. Anyway, my baby discus.
Oh my goodness.
They are less than dime size. They are so tiny. I've got a couple of little bigger. That's quarter size. Aren't they neat? I've got 6 little ones and 2 bigger ones. And the
Did somebody
parrots are
send?
beautiful.
Did
I
somebody
got
send
them
those to you?
locally. No, there's a
Okay.
fellow locally who has them, and I got them from him.
Hope you starved. So am I.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's in a heated tank.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I want to have discus skin someday. That's one of my goals. And I really love the Rams. I'm with you guys on the Rams, but I'm kind of scared
Temperature.
of them. And then, yeah.
Temperature.
Now, Alan Blanchard, Alan Tooth, he's been having babies like crazy. He needs to come see you.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I need to get some, right?
And they're beautiful. Really pretty colored. He has those in the
It's a
pistos.
wonderful fish. Wonderful fish. And then there you go. I don't know if it's going to make it on the list. It might not.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to wait. You know, there's no way to know what this is going to turn into.
Right. When will be the next time we'll actually hear something on it? Like, when is it supposed
We should
to?
hear something this week.
Okay.
It'll be coming up. I mean, within the next week or two, the competes bill will be coming up.
Yeah.
I'm using my camera here.
I'm being attacked by the
Beyond
dogs.
that,
Okay, get
we'll
down.
try to get a little more information tomorrow. I want to talk with some of the lobbyists and see what they're doing.
Oh, yes. Master Black talking about feeding them zucchini. Boy, you talk about, that's a good way to trap snails, too. Put your piece of zucchini in there and you'll get all kinds.
Yeah, or lettuce, yeah. Whoops.
Oh, planaria is bad about eating the shrimp eggs.
Huh.
I know my guppies were eating my rice fish eggs up in that tank, and they'd be swimming around with like a little sticky egg stuck to their. They'd have a little egg stuck on their lip.
That's funny.
Oh, good. Roman says had blissful every sense. All right. Wonderful tanked.
Go tanked.
That's right.
You know, obviously, if senators get 1 million letters and calls, they're going to take notice.
Yeah.
1,000, I don't know. 2,003, I don't know what the break number is. I don't know at what point they pay attention.
Right. But when they're getting bombarded, they surely will notice something's up.
Right, right.
Patricia wants to know how. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask.
They're real easy to keep, Patricia. Very simple to keep. There are a lot of people insist on feeding them snails. I never did because they were eating, and I never noticed a problem with their teeth. But a lot of people like to feed them snails.
Sunset Jen, I meant to ask that question.
And one about nearite eggshells.
Yeah.
You want to go check that?
Okay, here it is. It's is it saltwater breeding that necessitates nearite snails' eggshells to be so hard? That's
there's
701.
Saltwater puts more pressure on the egg to allow it to break more easily.
Here they all come.
Yeah, it's the puppies.
The puppies and the cats. They know when it's time. They're like, oh, it's time for you to feed me.
Thomas Durgan. Hello, Thomas.
Get down.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, I guess we ought to go. It's 7:15.
Hi, Thomason.
Nice to see you, Thomason.
And they're attacking the stand now. Always something happening over here. It's a zoo.
Right. Let's see. Let's play a little song here.
Play a little tune. We need Danny to come up here and perform for us. You need to play some of Danny's music. I bet he'd give you permission.
Really,
He's
oh,
got
he
some
does
good
neat
stuff.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I know he does.
I love it.
Alrighty, friends. Fishy friends. All my
friends.
fishy friends. Love you all. God bless you real good. Real good.
Yes, real good. Love you guys.
Let's talk about fish, baby. You and me.
Oh, good, Danny.
All the things and the bad things that can be. Let's talk about fish. Yeah.
Let's talk about fish.
Whoa.
Love when he gets down. Look at him. Get down, Fogfish.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make it. Let's talk about fish. Let's talk about fish.
Fish. I love it. Fada in the house. You got it. Go ahead, boy. Go ahead. Get down.
Bye, all. Love you all real good.
Love you real good. Mwah.